Hey there mamas, today I'm going to be doing a hip snapping fleece soaker cover. It's a lot like the regular Katrina covers, the Katrina soakers, except for that it snaps on the hips. Basically you take your Katrina soaker pattern, you've got your inner layer for the wet zone protection, and then you just extend each of the sides out straight for another inch. So every edge is going to be 1 inch extended out from the pattern. So if the pattern was normal, it would stop here, and with this one it goes out 1 inch further. And the reason why it's 1 inch on every side is because it's going to be folded over it to a 1/2 inch and then sewn down when you're done, and that's going to be where your snaps are, and then the front has to overlap on the back. So you don't want to lose extra fabric. You need to have that full 1/2 inch. The biggest difference is that you have to have a little bit longer for your trim. I don't use their measurements, I just cut it long. And then you have to have a separate piece for the front and the back. You can't use the one piece all the way around like you do with the pull-up soakers. So you're going to want to have 2 separate pieces of the waist trim and then have the leg trim be a little longer. We're going to start with zigzagging down the wet zone protection. Now I'm using white thread, so it's easy to see, but if you're using matching thread, you won't be able to see it like that. I just want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Now you have your wet zone protection sewn in, and you're going to take your trim. I'm going to do one leg first. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. You can do the top, bottom. We're going to be just sewing it all together. And I'm going to start off not stretching it because of the tab area. So you're going to just have it, not pulled. And then as soon as you get that inch in, then you're going to start pulling it through the leg. And if you notice, I'm not worrying about leaving my tails or tucking my tails in this style because we are going to be folding over these edges. So because we're going to be folding over these edges to make a finished edge, that seam that we sew right there is going to hold everything down. There's not going to be any chance of fraying. It's a no fray fabric. There's not going to be any chance of any seams running because we're going to sew it down. So that's the next thing we're going to do. The next thing we're going to do is going to take that 1/2 inch that we've got here, fold either the zigzag or the serged sides up. And we're going to be folding that over and just sewing down that edge, just with a straight stitch. We're going to do that on all 4 edges. So these are sized covers, and you're just using the Katrina soaker pattern, and you can modify it so that it fits your child better, but it's just a sized cover. If you wanted to extend the tabs out further and have bigger foldovers, you could then put multiple settings for snaps. You could also do a wide Velcro strip, make it a little wider and do like a Velcro strip to do Velcro closures. This is a really great option if you don't have access to pull, and it's also a really nice breathable option. Plus they're just little cute bloomers to wear underneath like a shirt or, you know, under a dress. And then all we're gonna do at this point is just add snaps. You can have the back over the front or the front over the back. Either way works. I think that most things that are side snapping tend to be front over back, but you know, it's up to you. I like to do one snap at the top, one snap at the bottom, and then two in the middle, so that there's 4 across. You can always narrow down your hip more or widen it and add extra. You don't want to narrow the sides of these too much because it has to fit over the wings of your fitted or the fold of your pre-fold. That's why it is the width that it is, so that it fits over that. And if you want to make it a little bigger, that's a great option as well. If you have big, bulky fitteds or you fold really large pre-folds, then, you know, extend the top of the soaker pattern. Add an inch onto this part, you know, maybe make the top taller as well. There's a lot of ways you can modify it to fit for your own child. This is the extra small size, so, you know, it's got little tiny leg holes and it's made to be worn over like a newborn size or an extra small size fitted or, you know, a tiny little pre-fold. We're just going to take our snaps, and I'll use black, I think, so at least they show up. I do have red, but I think I have enough black to do. Yeah. So then you just take your snaps and put them through that part where it's folded over so that there's, you know, more durability on your snap. And then we'll just do the other side the same way. Now I've applied all the snaps. You can see the nice little leg holes, no elastic, and it still works great. This is a great cover for you to make if you're just starting diaper sewing. You can make a little easy fitted, and you can make a little fleece cover, and you don't have to worry about buying pull or buying special fabrics. You could use flannel, or you could use, you know, a recycled cotton sweatshirt or just old t-shirts. There's really so many options that you can play around with sewing before you go and buy specific diaper making fabrics. And also, you don't ever have to. Like, you could make fleece covers and fitteds for your entire diapering journey. Like, there's no reason to get the fancier stuff unless you want to. It's not necessary. Don't let anybody make you think that it is. Something like this will work fine if you have enough absorbency in the diaper, or if you're using a pre-fold. As long as you change often and you have enough absorbency, something like this is a great option. And even though this has snaps, it still could be pulled on and off. Like, you can leave it snapped closed, you know, pull it on and off, and then as it gets a little tighter, use the snaps and then transition onto the next size. You know, this isn't going to be a one size cover, it's going to be a sized cover, and that's really the only limitation. It should work great for you. So there's your hip snapping fleece cover. Happy sewing!